because we about to go out there and do what they want. Now give me my theme music!
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of the Rounded Corners podcast. I'm Alan.
And I'm Mitch.
Mitch, today we put the gloves on, and we have one of our debates that we always have off air, and that is singles versus opening wax.
Ooh, I'm ready to.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so how do you want to start this?
I think I know which way you're going.
Okay.
So I'm totally gonna stand in this quarter and just come at you and butterbean the shit out of you. Right
Oh no. Well, I've got my favorite shorts on. They're gold. You can't see them at home, but they are trimmed and they're beautiful. And we should probably have like entrance music.
Oh, I'm definitely coming in some like hardcore American flag, Apollo Creed passed on a Rocky Balboa boxing shorts over here.
But that's right before Drago kills him. That's exactly what I plan on doing. Okay, so on this side of the debate, I 100% believe in singles, and you're more on the wax side. Open up what you think. Why wax?
Why wax? All right. Cover history of it as things have changed in this hobby. First off, prior to COVID, whipping racks, turnaround, slabbing cards of $6, $7 a piece through PSA was clockwork. So many people built their businesses based on it. Literally, you can go open a box of Prism, take the top rookie, top color cards out, slab it, turn around, make money. And then everything slowly caught up. So now we're in a modern age where that's not necessarily always the case. And some people have gravitated towards going the singles route. Wax prices have dramatically increased, right? 2017 box of Prism football with Patrick Mahomes' rookie card was like $175.
Crazy.
Are you even touching a Prism football box for under $1,000? Probably not anymore. Of any new release moving forward. So the evolution of that's kind of, I think, where people start swaying towards the singles. But the common problem I see a lot of people have is when they go out and buy singles, they get very pigeon-toed. And if you don't pick the right person, you're crushed. Wax, you're gonna. It's a bigger swing. Yeah, you might miss, but I also think it diversifies you a lot more. Maybe there's, you're chasing Chicago Bears cards for football, but you pull a real sweet-looking Christian Watson rookie auto, who's probably going to be the number one receiver for the Packers next year. You would never buy that as a Bears fan, but that's probably a good investment for you to sell next fall.
There's nothing I love more than buying Packers cards and then selling them to Packers fans at triple the price.
So I think that part of the wax, and then I think it helps diversify people. I think that it, and then just overall fun, right? I think that people that just buy singles sometimes get so entrepreneur business flip mind that sucks some of the fun out.
For sure.
So I think those are some of the highlight points of why ripping wax is important, and I side with the ripping wax over buying singles.
Okay, is that your argument?
I'm sure there's that was the first couple jabs of this.
Okay, I'll start with my opening sentence, my opening statement here. The reason I like singles is because when I open a box and I'm like super pumped about it and I'm geeked and I'm looking for a specific couple. Obviously, I'm opening the wax because I want to hit, right? But most of the time, let's be honest, there's no hit. It's just you're just bathing in cards, right? So, like, for example, in this year's Topps 2023, we both opened a jumbo. I was feeling really good about it, looking for the hit, looking to have some fun. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I had a couple. They were pretty much anticlimactic. I had the Ricky Henderson out of 99, which is really cool. But, I'm looking for those rookies, and I want some color of the rookies or auto of the rookies, And what ends up happening is like, say that box is $225. I end up getting 90% of the cards that I'm going to have to sit on forever. Pretty much give away to kids, including because base has been devalued so much that it's at the point to where I can't even do anything with the base rookies at this point. So I'm stuck. And I'm really kind of hit chasing. So, like, from a percentage-wise, I'm out $225 at the end of the day. I'll be able to probably make $60-$70 back. Then, but with singles, if I take that same amount of budget and I'm like, say, hey, I've highlighted Vaughn Grissom, I've highlighted Adley Rushman, I've highlighted the guys, right? Gunnar Henderson, maybe some Shea Langoliers if I'm feeling crazy. I can go in, buy that stuff at that same budget that's colored, that stuff that's maybe potentially numbered, and now I can still diversify. And I think the best part about it is I have a better prediction rate on whether or not it's somewhat centered and the quality of the card. Where in wax, it's a game. It's game. It's a game on. I don't know. Like one of those packs I pulled out of that jumbo, every corner was bent to shit, or at least the top right corner was bent to shit. And then even if you do get the hit, but then like, is there anything less fun than like you get an Adley Rutschman auto? Let's say you have fun here, right? You have a great hit like you had in yours, but it's off center as shit, and the corners are a little bent. It's frustrating. So that's why I feel like the safest bet is the single purchase. So that's our opening statements.
I think my counter to that is...
Okay, let's go.
But when you hit, right? Like, you love rubbing the Rushman in right now, right?
Yeah, it's a good one, man.
Are you going on buying a $400 Rushman auto?
I am not. It's out of my budget. Because, for me, I'm like, what's crazy about my budget is I'll nickel and dime myself all day. I'll buy $15, $30 cards all day. When at the end of the day, I look back at my purchases and I'm like, why didn't I just buy a $400 card instead of buying $400 worth of nickel and dimes?
I have a similar problem. That's about the only thing we'll agree upon today. But I reflect back, I'm like, why didn't I just buy a $300 card instead of buying $10, $30 cards?
Yeah, it's like, damn. But you do get to diversify your portfolio a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah, and then being a store owner, like for me, like I want to have a variety. The table touch every fan base or every person that might come in the store or people are chasing. So having those things is nice. And obviously for me, it's different, right? Like the base of 2023, people come in here trying to build sets out of Series 1. That's like one of the last really pretty much things that people ripped to build sets out of.
Yeah.
So like I have a way to move base, where other people don't. So like my views as a shop owner are going to be way different than the average guy that's in the hobby trying to, make a couple bucks for himself. And, the biggest thing is like, I feel like the only time I see like kids or, some people that maybe aren't as entrenched in the hobby with big stuff, it's only because they ripped it. And then, at the end of the day, it's legal gambling, man. It's a scratch-off lottery ticket, bro.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of boom and bust rates. I think if grading costs come back down and wax starts to settle itself, I think that'll be an interesting case, right? Like one of the recent ones that we briefly touched about, I just ripped a ton of was Bowman Chrome U. Grading all of that prior to NFL draft is going to be a worthwhile investment for me. Mm-hmm. Pretty confident in that.
Yeah.
Instead of, if I go and try to buy the singles of a lot of these guys, the singles already are what a box almost costs. So I would take the chance on ripping it, man.
Wow. Okay. So I guess I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you ever feel like in the modern wax, like obviously the Bowman U is a rare occasion. Out of all the stuff you open, do you lose money or make money?
I'm very specific on products I open. So it's maybe...
Hey, that's not true. I've been there with a drunken Mitch, and we're just grabbing stuff off the shelf.
Most of the time when I rip stuff, I am very calculated on what I do. Because with grading in mind at all times, pretty much at this point. But, there's definitely times where it was like, oh, that was like I went to the casino and threw $150 in the slot machine and just had a good time.
For sure.
There is those days. I don't think if you, at the end of the day, it's what's going to be your preference. What's your business model? What do you collect? I'm always going to side towards ripping the wax because I want to have fun and enjoy this. If I get away from not ripping at all, I don't think I'm going to enjoy the hobby as much or appreciate being a store owner as much.
Well, I think there's 2 dopamine hits, maybe 3 if you grade, right? It's like you got the wax, opening it, really fun. That's the first dopamine hit. Then if you grade it, getting your grades back is another dopamine hit. And then if you sell it, that's a third.
Yeah.
In my scenario, I've really got 1, maybe 2. I grade it, get it back. Hopefully the market hasn't changed too much. Because, like, if it's Trey Lance, I'm in real trouble right now. Right? Or Davis Mills, you know?
Or like one of those guys, and that's the hard part.
That's the game, though. That's the game. Not complaining about it. But then, like, I get the dopamine hit of selling it. I think the biggest difference, you're right, I think it's very philosophical and where your business model is. I think the nice thing about opening wax, though, is that your buy-in is a set bulk price. You got 2, let's say the Topps Jumbo Chrome or Jumbo is base is what we're kind of starting with. That was at this point, it's around $225 per jumbo box. You're in it for $225. Now, if you start adding grading costs on top of it, say like, for example, the SGC combo where they were doing $9 a card, right? Which makes sense because if it's
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I'd rather just spend the $30 and wait 2 months.
I'm
Different
with-
topic, but
Yeah. We both. If you listen to our past podcasts, you can get into the SGC stuff. But let's just say you get a Vaughn Grissom base you think is dead centered, and you go grade it, and it comes back at 10. You could the eBay comps really don't matter. You hope to get that out of that, right? But at the end of the day, you have a buyer who wants to buy it. Dude, just give me $20. You've essentially profited $11 from it, even though you're waiting time, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of manipulate your own pricing depending on like how it goes. With singles, if I buy a Nico Horner Bowman's Best rookie auto, I know what I got into it. That's $12, $13 right now. I don't feel like I can sell that card unless I can sell it at $25 to really make it worth my while. So I think that's the kind of flexibility with wax I do really like. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a mental thing.
And also too is the people that really complain about ripping wax, unfortunately, is the people that it's a blue occasion you rip and you swing and you miss.
You think it's a blue occasion?
Not a blue occasion. No,
I'm like 0 for 20 in like the last 20.
no, but I'm saying that the guys like you, man. Unfortunately, that horseshoe fell out a long time ago. Somewhere it's going to get picked up. but the people that just come in and rip one thing, feel defeated by one box, and then just stay away from it for a long time. It's like consistency, right? Like you're playing the slot machines at a casino. Like, the more you play, the better chance you're going to win. So that's part of the strategy as well too.
Yeah, and I think I think one of the reasons why I always gravitate towards singles too is that, like, let's say I open a box, and I've opened 2 in the last couple months. I've opened the new Stadium Club product, and I opened the Jumbo Topps base from this year, baseball, both. I think that as like a guy who has a limited amount of time, it's a true hobby for me as a flip. I'm not, listing 50 listings a day, 100 listings. For me to open a box, the 99% of the time, I'm keeping 80% of those cards. I'm just because I don't have the time to list them all, dude. I don't. Like the Vaughn Grissom rookie, I keep using him as an example because we keep doing it. But like, yeah, I could sell it for $2, but the time it's going to take for me to like list it, ship it, it's like, dude, I'll just keep it. I'd rather just keep it. If it's not over like $15, it's like, dude, what am I doing?
So I think I got one final swing to tie in here.
Sure.
It might put us both in the corners for us sucking some water and maybe putting Mick cutting our eye here. But the other reason of buying singles that is an issue is look at the Luis Robert scenario we're both in.
And no, that's a bad one. There's no denying that.
We're officially 13 for 13 for Luis Robert.
I think the fun game is trying to not mention him, and then
trying to plug it in at some point, random. But the fact that like the money that was invested in buying the singles of him, like what if you would just put that money into wax ripping, maybe hit some other different rookie cards or hit an auto of somebody? Does it change anything? Does it change your portfolio? Does it change where you'd be at in a situation of maybe you would have made more money this way? Maybe this, and that is another argument that people are like singles is the best play. What happens when that's the singles play and you're stuck now?
So I would say this in counter. I think that if someone goes all in on one player, I think that's a rookie move. I think if you have some experience and like a little bit of a longer tooth, everyone gets burned by that. I think you learn from the burning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got some third degrees over there?
Dude, Robert's killed me. Robert's got me, dude. How much further I would have been ahead if I didn't just like invest, a ton of, and then especially with the grading and all that. I mean, dude, I'm sitting on a ton of Robert. But I feel good about him this year, like every year. I think that like if you really want to give yourself a run, instead of buying 10 Topps Chrome base Luis Roberts the year that comes the releases, and then sending those off to get graded, I think the move is to buy 2 or 3 higher end cards, send those in to get graded, and that way your movement isn't as bad.
Yeah, like
you know what I'm saying?
It's a learning lessons of buying.
It's
singles.
a learning lesson because like you can diversify more, and sometimes that's the one beautiful thing about eBay and singles is that like sometimes you get a deal you can't really like walk away from. You know?
like example, I bought a Formula One red out of 5 last night. I had no intention of buying this card. Just randomly going through stuff, popped up on a list I was scrolling through. I was like, man, this price seems really cheap. Pulled a couple comps, sent an offer. Woke up this morning, it was purchased.
Oh yeah,
which is cool. I'll make money on it. I had no intention of buying that card. Going onto eBay for it. So. I think there's some of that. People, it's a struggle. But one other thing that I think I wanted to touch on was you talked about. I wanted to ask one question. And you briefly talked about it was the fact that you talk about buying a card and getting it graded versus opening a box and getting it graded. Are you way more disappointed that the one you bought as a single doesn't come back as a 10 versus when you pull out of a box that might not be a 10? And that's a flip off of like and reinvesting.
That's a great question.
Reinvesting in your investment. Are you bent out of shape if you pull out of a box and you didn't get a 10 versus like I put time picking this card out and it didn't 10? That's another part of buying singles too. Like, you want to center happiness, right? So
and let's be honest, right? I mean, I'm making singles on eBay sound like it's a guaranteed thing, but the majority of what I buy, I get in my hands and I'm like, this is never gonna gem. So now I'm stuck with it in the same sense as I would be opening wax.
and like everything's changing, dude. Like I wouldn't bought a whole case of one touches. Just the fact that I'm consistently running into a thing where I'm just like grading costs are up, turnaround times just, come and go a little bit. And so many more because we're living in a chromium based age.
Yeah.
That there's more surface issues consistently.
Dude, in like that 2023 Top Series 1 like foil cards, I think everything that I pulled had like some
It shows edges. Edges show on the foils out of Series 1 show.
Dude.
They look great they're great looking cards cosmetically, but it showed like that foil shows any flaw in that card.
Oh yeah, so it's like that's a card right away that like even I've probably hit the brakes on buying on eBay because it's like, dude, it looks good on a scan, but like I know I'm gonna get this thing back, and the odds of it actually being able to gem are probably rare.
Yeah,
but if it's a card that if I saw at a card show and I was able to look at it, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, like if you walk around and you saw like a nice Gunnar Henderson foil in a one touch, presenting itself nice. I think they're like $30 right now. Maybe it's 25 at a card show. Like, oh, you have some thought. Like, this is a nice looking card. Not going to gem, but like, it just can really become something cool.
Yeah, and that's the nature of the game, right? They're both risky. I think that, man, I don't know where I land now. I'm not completely swayed to the wax because I do like the idea of getting what I want. I do like that.
Obviously, like I said, we come from two different sides of it, right?
Yeah.
This is a side hustle for you. Local 219 over here is your beast.
Yep.
Me, I'm a shop owner. So
that's what you do.
Us selling wax off the shelf is important. And I think for me, the longevity of my time in the hobby, at the end of the day, I always enjoy ripping a box over buying a single, I think. I'm going to enjoy ripping that box more. Because honestly, half the time I'm buying stuff, I enjoy the deal, the art of making a deal more sometimes than buying the card.
I get that 100%. Damn, man. I'm leaving this with, I still like the idea of being able to, like, especially, like, the older cards are really tough. And they are, because, like, I just bought a Betts out of 99, Bowman's Best. Probably, I think it was 2017. And I got it back, dude, and it's just like, dude, there's surface issues all over this thing. And it was, like, such a disappointment, you know? So I'm like, damn, that blows. But I feel like all the cards that, like, are modern, like the most recent release, like 2022 Topps Finest, those cards that I'm picking up, the out of 50s, the out of 75s, the out of 99s, that I think are a pretty good deal, those seem to come back with the least amount of surface issues than ever. So it's almost like I'm kind of evolving my singles purchases to kind of like, I'm only going to buy the modern releases for the most part because it's got less time of being damaged. And then I'll probably still buy the older stuff if I see it in person.
And you know what? And there's one interesting point, real quick, is, you know, I think my focal point's ripping what drops. You know, I'm not really going back and ripping 2015 and 2016 boxes.
That's true too.
That's probably more where you would go the singles route. You know, because those boxes probably don't surface as much. And if there's somebody that's really a stud in that box is way over the market value of what that box should be.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then I think the best thing to rip in wax, obviously, is rip it when it drops. And you got to sell. Like, at least we've already talked about a couple times here, is like, dude, I probably should have went live and sold that thing for like $400. It's already down to $250, $300.
Damn right,
I just
man.
lost $100 on that, like, because of time.
That's the thing about our gig, this hobby, is just that, dude, you got it. Timing is everything on the selling part.
Timing is everything. And I said, you know, like I said, truthfully, as much as I want to debate those still, Alan, I know we're getting, you know, close to wrapping up this episode, is I think the perfect person in this hobby has a balance of both. As much as I don't want to admit it,
yeah,
it perfectly is. And that's where I feel like I'm getting to. I think I've went through times in the hobby where I'm rip heavy, and then, you know, maybe there's times where I'm just like, singles are coming at me so good, or there's like a certain player I want to chase. But I think when you balance both, I think that's when you kind of start rising up to the cream of the crop of the hobby.
I 100% agree. Because I agree with both. I agree with what you said, and I've seen you pull those cards out of that. Like, I feel like that jumbo box you pulled, dude, it was like a hit machine. It was like a hot box, you know. And it's like, dude, that's awesome. Like, if you would have sold that day, you would have doubled your money out of that box. Easy. So it's like, that's really cool. So I get that, and I was watching, like, I really love that 22 Topps Finest flashback series. I do, dude. Like, the 95 style design, obviously hitting my heartstrings because that's when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I love the inserts, the flamethrowers and the Power Kings out of it. Like, I'm PCing the Power Kings at this point, right? So I'm like, dude, I really want to buy one. So it's like, I look at the YouTube, though, and I'm like checking them out, and it's like, you watch one guy hit 5 refractors in a box, and it's a hot box, and you're like, damn, that's fun. And then you watch the next one, and it's like, this guy barely got anything out of it. It's like, dude, that's the game, and I think that's the beauty of the gambling portion, which you can have a lot of fun, or you can have average fun.
And I think being selective on what you rip is important too, right? Like, I don't rip a bunch of like hanger packs all the time, but I also don't crazily rip a bunch of hobby boxes though either. You know, it's finding certain products in the sweet spots or color parallels.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
You know, Prism hanger boxes, I think, are an underrated value because there's 4 red ices, and red ice PSA 10s are really good on the quarterback. So, like, that, like, if I get 40 of those in, I'm probably ripping 10, putting the rest out. Like, so, like, that's my mindset. Like, getting into a point where, like, cool, like, I'm probably, if I strike on all these, I'm not taking a huge L.
Love it.
You know, and then there's cases where, you know, like, the juice has got to be worth the squeeze, right? Like, you get some of these boxes that, like, are up over $1,000 that should be more like $400 boxes. You're going to fail. You're not going to make your money back.
So knowing the product is huge. It's huge. Because, like, dude, you know how many boxes I've been, like, debating on buying? But then it's like, dude, I need, like, for example, 92 Bowman baseball. I'm like, dude, I would love to just buy it for fun You know, there's a lot of rookies in there. It'd be cool. But it's like, dude, the price of what it's going for right now to comparison of like, I would need like 5 of those rookies to gem to really make money.
Well, like, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, you know, it's about what the chase is, right? Like, I try to find products that I don't have to hit the auto with a home run to get my money back, at least get my money back on the box.
That's the key. And I do like the Bowman U. I mean, I'm sold.
Crush.
I'm sold on that.
Crush.
I'm sold on it. I would go buy a couple boxes of it.
You know, and then Series 1 baseball and that whole super short print series. I mean, the whole set to this thing. There's other chases that aren't autos, that aren't this, that are going for great money. Like that's what boxes need like that.
Oh, yeah, dude. All right. So if you are interested in purchasing any cards or sports memorabilia, go to foreveryoungsportscards.com.
.com, baby.
And then you've also got a store in Crown Point, Indiana.
Right
so
across from Old Dog Park. Let's go.
If you're in the area, swing by, come in. Mitch loves to chat.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And make sure to subscribe to this channel. If you do have any questions, hit me up at Alan, ALAN, at local219.tv. Make sure to go back into our past episodes. We do a lot of debates. We give you our buys at certain times. We have a baseball preview where we talk about the entire season and what we were going to be doing. So make sure to go back, get some information from there, subscribe to our channel, get notifications when we release a new one, and we'll talk to you soon.